Welcome to Shark Bay, just 1.5 kilometers south of the beautiful village of Arniston. In this video I'd like to briefly introduce my 3 Arniston surf skiing videos and then also introduce you to 3 interesting facts or features of the Arniston geography and history. So firstly, my 3 surf skiing videos. Arniston is known for surf skiing. I've got one called Arniston Alpinism, the second is Arniston Avalanche, and the third is 1 minute 26 second wave. The first 2 are related. In the first one, the alpinism one, I apparently have no difficulty in going out through some fairly big shore break, but be sure to read the notes underneath on my reflections on stability. In the second one, I'm not so lucky. I get completely savaged and brutalized by the big surf. One wave takes me out completely and holds me under for at least 10 seconds, quite a scary event. And then my third one, I get rewarded for all my hard work by 3 beautiful waves in one session, one at 40 seconds, one at 70 seconds, and one at 1 minute 26 seconds. Moving on to Arniston itself, the first point to note is its location, which is approximately 25 kilometers from the most southern tip of Africa up the eastern seaboard. And the 3 things I'd like to share are: 1, the origin of its name, Arniston. Number 2, I'd like to talk a little bit more about this terrifying reef that you can see in the distance here off Stuispunt. We'll come back to that. And thirdly, to share with you a magnificent, beautiful dune desert that is a trail runner's dream. I'm standing at the site of the monument to the Arniston ship that was wrecked in 1815 with a loss of 378 lives. This monument is located about 3 kilometers further up the coast from Arniston. The Arniston was part of a fleet of 6 ships called Indiamen, returning from India en route to the UK when it struck the reef about a kilometer out there after its sails had been blown out in a terrible storm over the preceding 2 days. There were 378 people on board, and regrettably all but 6 of those souls lost their lives. And whilst the loss of every single life is exceptionally tragic, what is even more heart-rending for a father like me, my wife Lauren and I are the father of 3 sons, is the fact that one family lost all 4 of their young sons, aged 6 to 13, I think it was. And it was the mother of these 4 boys who returned here in September 1816 to lay the first stone monument, and I think it's been subsequently replaced twice, if I'm not mistaken. The father of the 4 boys was in fact a senior member of either the British Navy or Army. You can imagine today it's blowing at 20 knots. They were probably out there in 40 knots plus. And the captain eventually decided to cut all the drag anchors, and he was trying to run aground on the beach to save everyone. But regrettably, they hit the reef about a kilometer out there. The second feature I'd like to share with you is the existence of this magnificent small dune desert, about 8 to 10 kilometers long, probably 1 to 1.5 kilometers wide, that is located just a couple of kilometers up the coast. This filming is taken from immediately inland from the monument, and you'll see here I'm at the apex of a little dune. And 2 reasons why it's a beautiful spot for running. Number 1, most of the sand is hard packed. The only time you have trouble is kind of running on an apex or an edge. And the second thing is that there's this wondrous wildlife. I've seen large antelope, I don't know the type. I've come across ostrich, a huge number of birds, quite a few nesting birds. So if you love trail running, you really have to put your shoes on and just head up the coast, head east, and you'll find. And the last Arniston feature I'd like to share with you is this reef at Stuispunt, which I find in equal measures fascinating and terrifying. Terrifying because with the naked eye one can see from this raised vantage point that there are waves breaking in almost every direction through a 180-degree plane. So clearly the swell is coming in, wrapping around the reef, and quite often you end up getting waves hitting each other in opposite directions, creating standing waves, which you'll see shortly as I paddle out there. So I'm out here more than a kilometer from the beach, and frankly I'm just too terrified to get closer to this reef, as I've previously seen rogue waves just pop out of nowhere. I mean, what happens here is so random, so unpredictable, and so raw that I just keep a healthy distance. I've got two short sections of slow-mo coming up, and in each you can quite clearly see waves traveling in opposite directions, striking each other and creating significant standing waves.